Future of Wrestling Podcast. Take a step back, look at your angels and devils. Sometimes in life you gotta reach the next level. I don't know, it's a late start, but I did my best to intro the brand new show right here on Future Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. NXT, finally, as you know, my God, Logan, by the way, welcome, it's your channel. What's going on? We're two-man booth in it, Logan.
I know, it's been a long time since we've done this, and I'm glad to be here once again on my channel.
There you go. Thank you for asking me to do this and having me on here. As always, Logan, before we get to anything and what this is and whatnot, where can everyone check you out?
Of course, you guys can check me out right there on Twitter at LoganMyers144. And
Logan, by the way, welcome. It's your channel. What's going on? We're two-man booth in it. And of course, as always, check out Hibiki TMD on YouTube, the reset button, Hibiki High Spots, all the goodness. If you're into retro gaming and pro wrestling, we got you covered. But Logan, originally, a lot of people don't know, Future Wrestling, way back when now, like months ago, and this started, was supposed to be a weekly NXT show, correct? I believe.
Yes.
That's what it originally was supposed to be. But you, with your damn Pat Patterson 6 months ahead booking, there's just... See, people don't understand how much people like Logan and I truly love pro wrestling. We can talk about it at any time of the day. Unformatted, by the way, which this is. This isn't an official first episode. It's kind of like a pilot episode for a new sitcom, Logan. Tonight we're going to talk about just how we got here with NXT and whatnot. But this was supposed to be NXT, but with the old schools and all the good stuff that's come about, got sidetracked. But finally we said, you know what, we're putting our feet down. And NXT is just... out of all the mundane wrestling you and I have to review on whatever respective show. By the way, catch me on First Thing in the Morning KVD Podcast and Grapple Vision whenever you're done. I'm more than Mick Foley cheap plugs, but I feel like NXT is the best usually. We never get a chance to do it, so finally we get to, and it's good stuff. It's good to do this. Like I said, thank you. And everyone that stops by in your chat. Who we got, Logan?
Well, we have Tater Snake and Ashley.
All right, let's get right down to the brass tacks, though. Thank you guys for stopping by. We will do our best to man the chat. And, Logan, what's coming up, though, with NXT? We got Almas. See, we've come such a long way with NXT champions. Originally, a lot of people that don't really know, NXT started in, 2010. Kind of branched out of FCW, the developmental program they had right after OVW, when Cornette left. So they said, you know what, we're finally making it our own. Instead of branching out to an independent like OVW was run by Cornette, they did their own in-house thing with FCW finally. And I would say, I mean, there was a lot of good that came out of that early FCW, Logan, but there's been a lot of bad. And that just goes to show the negatives of a performance center, an in-house program like this. I think it's cliche, but like you see guys in shoots say it all the time, the best way to get experience is just hitting the territories. But instead of territories, now that's outlaw indies and stuff, you know, but... NXT was a reality show. It was nothing like it is now, and FCW evolved, kind of went away in a way. It meshed with NXT, but NXT, February 2010, I believe, started, Logan, with guys like Daniel Bryan, Darren Young, Ryback, who was Skip Sheffield, by the way, great name. Wade Barrett, who would go on to win this with the lip. Did you love the jacket that Wade Barrett would wear?
I remember that, and I didn't. Honestly, I'll be honest.
I kind of did too. It kind of grew. Like at first, I was like, "What is this?" But it grew on me, kind of like a mafia thing, maybe like a British fucking mafia type thing. But a couple other guys on there, I'm obviously forgetting. Justin Gabriel, Heath Slater. There you go. But this was awful, and each guy had a pro. I remember, like, you know, Dana Bryan was paired up with The Miz. It was like a mentor. I don't know if you remember any of the other guys, because I don't.
All of them have been future endeavored, basically.
Most. Or just can't compete in the ring. Not allowed to.
Yet.
Or have podcasts where they're bitter and angry and they sell stuff to make you think they're not on steroids. Ryback. Logan, though, this was awful. This was not the way to introduce young talent. It was legit like a reality show. Not only would the mentors, each young guy would have a superstar with him. They would sit on stage in like director's chair, the superstars, while the guys did the bullshit in the ring, like promo competitions, carrying a keg of beer around the ring. It was like kind of like a poor man's American Gladiators in a way, Logan, is what this was.
Yeah, most definitely. It was. I mean, I do like the promos classes. That's all right to do. But the other dumb stuff. Like, yeah, I didn't agree with it.
Out of all the guys looking back, obviously, I don't think any of us, maybe at the time, like I think we all saw Money in Wade Barrett, but now we've come full circle. It's crazy to think that he won it with guys that would, obviously Daniel Bryan, one of the biggest sensations in the last fucking 20 years, you know.
Yeah.
What did you think of the pick though? Who would have, if memory serves you correct at the time, not looking back now what we know, but what we knew then, would you go on with Bryan Danielson obviously to win this?
Yeah, I would have. Because he's had the bigger career out of all of them combined.
What's chat think about the original NXT, Logan?
Nobody has said anything yet.
Well, that pretty much sums up the original. I kind of see what they were trying to do in a way, and I'm sure you do too. It just, something was lost in translation when it came on to making the final cut on the television, and it showed. I think WWE knew it was pretty bad, and that's, if any of the good we got out of this, and a lot of people hate it, this could be a hot take, heel Michael Cole kind of came from the original NXT, right?
Yes, I do remember that.
See, and I think on this show when it was heel Michael Cole was pretty much just him versus Daniel Bryan is where it started, right? Where he would kind of be a prick, and then he just started being a prick on the main roster. I never, when it was done in small doses, like we say a lot, the heel Michael Cole was okay, but to make him the lead announcer, obviously, as a heel was dumb, and it just got annoying.
Oh, most definitely. Like, really, it was Michael Cole rubbing one off on The Miz, like late 2010 into 2011. And it just, I didn't understand it. And like when you add Michael Cole into this situation, at that time it was more about that feud with him and Daniel Bryan than anybody else.
You know the most depressing thing about this, and I didn't, exposed, I just Wikipedia'd it because I didn't know officially. 6 seasons of this they did. They did 6 seasons of this format, of this up until May 2012. It was finally made an actual goddamn wrestling show. It only took 6 seasons. That's, God.
6 seasons?
That speaks to WWE in 2010 so much and how bad it was and how bad decisions were being made back then. It was, and it showed Raw fucking sucked in 2010. We're not going to skip right ahead to 2012 right yet, Logan. It's very noteworthy. We got to bring up the Nexus. You can't talk about the first NXT without bringing up the Nexus and what came of that. It's just, obviously it ended up being horse shit and Cena fucked up with stupid booking and power plays, but them on Raw is still one of the best things they've ever done on Monday Night Raw, in my opinion.
For me on the Nexus, booked right, it could have been brilliant. But the way they did it, it did not work. And at the end of the whole storyline, it just fell flat completely.
See, and we're not going to get into it, but it's SummerSlam 2000, because that could be a whole other podcast. The next, knowing you, it will be. Cheap shot. But it's SummerSlam 2010 is when I feel like it just derailed completely, and then NXT had a season 2 with guys like Curtis Axel and whatnot. And I'm not going to talk about any more of the seasons, but it was bad until it was finally revamped. And it was pretty much like we said, FCW just rebranded. Let's say it.
Yeah.
Did you watch any early NXT at all? Because it was available on stuff like Hulu for a couple years until it made its way on the network. Like, did you watch it this time at all?
I don't think I did. Because I didn't know anything really about it.
Yeah.
And I guess because when it started getting good, I didn't know if it was just going to be like the same thing we were watching before.
Yeah.
But now you've seen where it's come to. It's definitely came to a very screeching halt of fantastic shows.
Honestly, I think I first started watching, and not early on. I mean, talking about like mid 2013 is I think around the time, I would say when I first got Hulu, and I'm thinking around that time. I'm talking when it was Chris Hero, Cassius Ohno's first run there, when he wasn't a shell of himself, and that's not a shot on his weight. Maybe it is. Much thinner. Guys, this is when Sami Zayn first came, and he was having those matches with Cesaro. You know what I'm talking about? Those classics.
Yep.
Bo Dallas was the champion, and Adrian Neville, him and Adrian Neville, the very first takeover, WWE Network is pretty much. I mean,
right?
Yeah, stuff like that. Just to think that Big E Langston, like we said, was an NXT champion. Obviously, the first was Seth Rollins, though, right?
Yep.
Right. I remember back in the day, they were seeing like a clip of CM Punk coming to Full Sail and having a match with Rollins or something. I remember that. I know that happened.
I remember that too. I watched it on YouTube. I do remember that. And
essentially, yeah. No, good.
Tater Snake says in the chat, it's not a shot on his weight. Maybe it is. Travis, good dude. CG, my brother. HH, dude, thank you for having me. Looking back, though, it's safe to say NXT 2013 Logan is basically main roster Raw, for the most part. Yeah.
All these guys. The Wyatts, Big E, Paige. We would see Emma. She's not there now, but, stuff like that. Just so many guys. It was definitely Seth Rollins. I mean, Seth Rollins was basically Tyler Black, who he was in ROH at this time. I don't think he ever really found himself until, the Shield.
Yeah, he didn't. To me, one of the most underrated guys back in NXT back in the day that was an NXT champion was Big E Langston at the time.
He was supposed to be a big deal. I remember because he was brought in as Ziggler's bodyguard. And that's the first exposure I had really gotten because I never saw any of his run as NXT champion. So I assumed he was a big deal because they would say it on air, former NXT champion on here with Ziggler. So, and yeah, I think a lot of that had to do, I hate to say it, with how cynical Vince and Kevin Dunn can be with, appearance. Maybe his height, I think, has always been his biggest detriment.
I could see that. I still say he's underrated now. Even when he's with the New Day, I think at some point down the road, he should get a monster push again. But this time, book him the right way.
Yeah, he's too goddamn entertaining for me. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but maybe it's the mark in me that just loves this lovable preacher character he does because he does it so good. He's so good at being ridiculous. And there's a bad way to do ridiculous, and there's like this, But I think he definitely has it in him. We saw glimpses of it, like you said, when he was with Ziggler as NXT champion. At this point, though, I think the New Day has been established so long. I don't know. Will fans accept it? Is the thing.
I think they could. And I think if there would be a heel turn on the New Day, it would be Big E, just because of his size and and all that. And but we've seen it in the past. If it's Vince McMahon doing the storyline writing, and he says, and he does it the wrong way. Now, if it's Triple H who makes up the storyline and all that and okays it, I think we could really see a great Big E Langston. Well, Big E now, but we could see a Big E world champion one day.
Logan, that is definitely why. The fact you brought up Uncle Paul, you're the man of no equal, you don't need a sequel. Great segue to what I was going to bring up. NXT is the first time Uncle Paul, Triple H, got to sit up at the adult table at Thanksgiving and finally book something in WWE. I feel like the Wyatt family was all him, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It was the first time that Vinnie Mac gave his little son-in-law the book, brother. And, it's definitely been positive. Obviously, the Reign of Terror and stuff that people have... You can't talk in NXT show anything about origins or history without bringing up Triple H. There's a difference, I feel like, the way he handled business as an in-ring performer politically to what he's doing now. Now, I feel like he truly, and as cringy and as PR and as shitty as Stephanie McMahon, his wife, can be, and money hungry as the McMahons can be. I feel like Triple H really does want to kind of save the business in a way because he does love it at the end of the day.
And that's what we need, is somebody that can take what Vince McMahon has done over the years and get it to that next level. Pun intended. See what I did there?
Yeah. No matter how much, and people are always going to say it about him. It's tried and true, the tired ass conversation about he married the boss's daughter. A, she's not unattractive. B, he really does love wrestling. I mean, he was a super fan at the time of like the Horsemen. There's pictures of him like putting his fucking hair like Ric Flair and taking pictures in the mirror. I've seen this on his documentary. Like, he is a mark, and I just really feel like that. I could see actually just falling in love with a Stephanie like that, even if it's the boss's daughter. Like, that'd be like your dream wife. Well, she's Vince's daughter too, a bonus, and she's very attractive, you know. But I think people have given him way too much shit for that over the years. It's not like she's like, you know, like a in a tower. She's like Broomhilda or Witz or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my point is, not to get off track, he loves the business. He truly does. He's got like all the old big ass books of Dusty Rhodes that Dusty gave to him, that it was like the official bookings for like Starrcades back in the day, handwritten by Dusty, used in meetings. And like Triple H has all this shit in his house because he's a supermark. And I'm just kind of thankful that's in the business in a way in the future of WWE and stuff is in the hands of somebody like that, you know, and as opposed to like a Jim Herd or a Eric Bischoff or somebody.
And that's what you need, is a guy like Triple H who is a mark. Because sometimes having that person that loves the business the way he does, it always transitions into great product, and that's what NXT is. And, you know, the Rocket Fuel, when it kicked off, brother, the Rocket Fuel, I don't know why I said that. The first takeover, we said it right when the WWE Network pretty much launched, right? Early 2014 came with NXT Arrival, and this was definitely, I would say at the end of the day, from this very first takeover to the very last one we've had, there's definitely been a ton of more positives for just the NXT brand than negatives. I'm not talking about the talent when they get to the main roster. I'm just talking about NXT. But I feel like NXT has been such a tremendous positive in the last 4 years, Logan, since being on the network. Yes, it has.
If anything, it could be a saving grace because it's like the one show WWE consistently puts out that like has their diehards hanging on by a thread. Because I shudder to think where people's viewing habits would be if NXT hadn't been there for the last 4 years and it was just the main rock. Could you imagine? Oh, like your only alternatives would be to like watch an ROH or something, which is fine.
That's fine, but NXT has become that exclusive. To me, it's not even WWE. It's more like just Triple H with NXT. It's its own entity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's brought NXT from where it first began to this nuclear bomb that just, when it goes off in takeovers, the fans are glued to their seats.
Yeah. Because they give their characters an edge. They give their characters character. They give you reasons to invest in their characters. They build them properly. An hour show a week doesn't hurt anything as opposed to a 3 hour show. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't hurt anything. But you can also overexpose talent on a 1 hour show too. They could have the world champion or the NXT champion there every week. But they don't do that. They don't do it as much. They've been doing it a little more with Almas. But I think that storyline with Gargano and all that's been really good. So it gets passed. But NXT's really good at just development, I feel like, Logan in general, for characters.
Yeah, like for an example, character, Aleister Black, one of the biggest names in NXT right now. A guy that's one of the most underrated guys that we've seen on the independent scene. Velveteen Dream. Just guys
exactly.
I was
good.
Go ahead, Travis.
No, finish the thought, Logan.
I was just gonna say Velveteen Dream has come a long way.
I don't know who. I know Triple H, of course. I don't know who else is officially. Adam Pearce, I believe. I don't know. Is officially pulling the strings booking wise. But Velveteen Dream is a prime example of how good they book guys in NXT as of late. Is just Who would have thought that gimmick on paper, on anybody else, just looking at it, would have getting the reactions it's getting?
Yeah.
You know?
Like, to me, like, the small things that people, when it comes off unnoticed, is, for example, his takeover match against Aleister Black.
That put it over the top. That sealed the deal.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah. The tights, the mind games that Velveteen Dream brings to the table on NXT and the takeover events, and then the last takeover where he sported like a knockout type character against his opponent Cassius.
I kind of like viewed it as, you know how Mark Marrow was also Johnny B. Bad. It's like if you mix Johnny B. Bad and Mark Marrow together. It's Velveteen Dream's little tribute. Didn't think about that, did you, Logan?
No, I did not until now.
But yeah, you're right, man. And keep doing what you're doing with the Dream, because just keep him in NXT as long as you can, because I don't trust. But even though the main roster in Vince is pulled back and Triple H is controlling more things, I still feel like he's going to be mishandled.
I don't know. I don't see how you can mishandle him unless you are Vince McMahon.
Well, you could make him Rico. You could make him, there's tons of ways I'm sure they could fuck him up. It's them, Logan. You know what we're talking about. Kevin Dunn.
Well, if the rumors are true and that what Triple H, when Triple H has full control, and what I read with bringing in Jeremy Borash is that he's building his own unit to run the main roster.
Which is crazy, because when I heard the Borash news, I automatically assumed he was going to run NXT for the most part, so Triple H could focus on main roster more. That's what I assumed. That's why he was brought in. But he's going to the big dance, huh?
Apparently, well, right now in NXT, he's doing everything he did. What he was doing in TNA was, help with production, help with like storylines and he's doing everything that what he did in TNA, which we saw what Borash did in TNA was every time he was involved with something, it turned out pretty damn good. Hence the broken gimmick.
Well, they're not all winners, but yeah, he had some good ones in TNA. I know his later days was some. The Hardy stuff was good. I'm not saying that, but there's some other stuff like Abyss. There was something with Abyss I remember like a year or so ago. It was just all like they fought outside and shit or something. But it was like the day and night transitions, like how it was with the Hardys, how it was meant to be funny. They didn't mean to do it in the Abyss thing. But I feel like he's good mind to have on board, definitely. And that's another thing NXT has pretty much turned into is just a farmhouse for TNA talent to groom them and perfect them, brother, for the main roster.
And the crazy thing for me is you're grooming all this talent that's in the ring. You're not counting like commentators and stuff like that as well. That has really come a long way. Corey Graves, guys that have came up.
Exactly. I mean, circumstances are not how he got there. By the way, sent the link today. I think it's fucking awesome that him and Booker T just trolled everybody. Shout out to them.
I laughed my butt off. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, they got me too, man. I'm not gonna lie, because I listened to all of it. I was like, damn. But yeah, they got me. So tip of the hat. That's another thing too. We're also in this incredible era with WWE at least finally being, believe it or not, generous and allowing indie talent to have footage and appearances, and just this cross promotion WWE has done something we've never seen, because in any era WWE it's like you never talk about WCW. It was like always a thing, right? If they said WCW on Raw, it was shocking. You know what I mean? And then we hear about New Japan now all the time for this AJ Styles Nakamura title match. All the time.
Yeah. And
I like it. I love this, by the way. I'm not trying to come off like I don't. I love this era.
Yeah.
That we're, like WWE is finally accepting there's other wrestling, God forbid.
Yep. That's for example, like Chris Jericho going over to New Japan, and then a couple weeks later he's on the Raw 25, and he's wearing his wrestling shirt with Kenny Omega. It was like, they let him do that?
Yeah, no.
They actually embraced it.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Another thing I was gonna mention, but it kind of like slid off my brain, I'll have to go back to that in just a second.
We'll clean it up, Logan. Get a napkin. Clean your brain.
Jeez, I don't know how it did it. No, I do know what I was going to say. I don't know if you heard the rumor that now WWE has exclusive rights to the Broken Gimmick now, and everything from TNA, like all the videos and stuff. I think WWE, I would have to say before or after WrestleMania, they're going to probably have the exclusive rights to all TNA footage. So that's going to help with NXT as well, with guys like EC3 coming in and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I saw that, and
that's what they need.
Good.
They need that.
I feel like they know that they need that too, is in a way. Like, I feel like it would help them, especially a guy like Samoa Joe. There's so much footage of him in the X Division in his younger days, which is so good. When he was like that undefeated badass, like you know what I mean?
Can you imagine, like, having, like, you can go back and watch all the old good footage of TNA from back in the day on the WWE network?
You ready for this, Logan? Picture it's 2005 or 2006, that era, whatever, TNA, Kurt Angle, Christian, the good era, TNA, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, right now I'm going to name the top of my head all the TNA guys that have come to NXT. Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, I'm going to say because he went to the main roster, Eric Young, James Storm, EC3. There's a couple other guys. Rhino, he counts because he was, you know. There's a couple other guys I'm forgetting. Sting and Kurt Angle, by the way. I'll just say them.
The Hardys.
Look, the Hardys, but they didn't go to NXT. I'm just saying. It's crazy. But there was always that negative thing around Vince rumors back, you know, a couple years ago. It was like, he'll never take a TNA guy. They're too old. He doesn't like them. But look where we're at now. Yeah. It's never believe what you hear until it's, you know, in front of your face.
Yeah, and it's because of Uncle Paul, too. It's because he saw the talent. He saw what you know.
William Regal.
He saw everything.
I feel like we're neglecting to say William Regal as far as scouting talent. Yep. I don't feel like he gets enough credit. Big time. Big time.
He is. He. You know, a lot of people don't realize this, but he travels almost every single day scouting talent.
A lot of people also don't realize, Logan, he wrestled Cassius Ohno on NXT. You remember that?
I do remember.
And I think he had a match with Cesaro, maybe. I'm pretty sure.
I think he did, yeah. Oh, I'm going to have to go back and watch that now.
Yeah, me too. Legit. I just remembered that, thinking, but anyway, they can't all be winners, Logan. Your Bull Dempseys, your, my God, the Lucha Dragons, it was alright, I guess. The Vaudevillains were really over. The Ascension was like the fucking Legion of Doom in NXT. That's just depressing to think about now.
No. I think, Megan Starr is in the chat.
Welcome, Megan.
And she does bring a good point that we did not mention. Prince Albert has also picked a bunch of talent.
Boom! There you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
That was the name that slipped us earlier. We knew we forgot somebody. Bill DeMott, too, I kind of feel like should be mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, you can mention him. But, like, it's crazy that Bill DeMott, we went from Bill DeMott to Albert to A-Train.
Yeah. To guys like Adam Pearce and fucking tons of guys they brought in at this point. Gabe Sapolsky works with them now, which is crazy to think about, and just all the British connections, progress. They had the that's what I was going to say too about the new era thing. Getting back to that real quick. If NXT hadn't been around, like we said, for the last 4 years, I don't think we would have seen this branching out either, because Triple H wouldn't have got this experience, this chance to show what he's capable of. And, you know, that's another thing that goes under the radar is people that just should be thankful for NXT and what it's given us. I feel like it was like the road was paved with stuff like Big E's champion to like Pete Dunne being brought in to where we're at now. It's tremendous.
We have so much talent that we can mention and just talk about for hours. And the crazy part is we're not just getting guys from like TNA, or we're getting guys from like Nakamura
Everywhere.
everywhere. It's not just
Fabian
around the area.
Eichner, the other guy, the Brazilian. Is he Brazilian? The other guy that talks really funny, but he looks like $1 million. He's been on NXT recently. What the fuck is his name?
Oh, damn.
But Fabian Eichner, that's one we can say. He's from Italy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of like RVD, his work rate in a way. He's tremendous. Like, and he's very deceiving by his looks. He looks like a big muscle guy, but he's kind of like a white Apollo Crews. I hate to say it like that, but that's what it reminds me of.
He didn't just tell me. You didn't just say that.
Oh, sucky ducky quack quack oh. Yeah, I said it. Another thing about NXT is the Wyatts. Let's talk about the Wyatts again and how it wasn't the Wyatts at first. In FCW, it was what, like Bo Rotunda and Duke Rotunda. It was Bo and Bray is just this, and Bray Wyatt evolved so much through FCW and what it became in NXT. It's weird to go back, and especially like Luke Harper when they first brought him in, because he was like a Chikara guy. What was his Brody Lee was his indie name. He was on like Chikara and all the PWG shows and stuff. And like to see Luke Harper, if you go back, I'm sure you have Logan with like not as grizzly. He's so young looking. He's not a bad looking guy.
How I even went back, Brandon actually sent me a couple videos of Dean Ambrose and what he did in some of them hardcore matches.
He had a bull rope match, I believe, with Bray Wyatt down there, which was really good.
Yeah, and then he had like a chainsaw to his head at one point. Like there's some brutal stuff that when you look at WWE today and what Dean Ambrose has done, like in Extreme Rules matches, that was nothing compared to what he did in the Indies.
And shame on them. If they know they can only book it a certain way because of sponsors and their rating, then don't book it. It's going to come off hokey and cheesy, which is what was it? It was a cage match with Jericho with weapons was one, right? And a hologram match with Bray Wyatt or something, right?
Yeah. Dean Ambrose.
Just bad.
Yeah.
We can't talk about NXT and FCW, Logan, without talking about, let's go to the puppy pound. We forgot the biggest dog of all, Leaky. Roman Reigns, and coming through NXT, of course. Another product of NXT, looking back. It just, obviously the biggest star to come through NXT, I would say.
He has, no matter what you say about him, no matter what your thoughts or opinions are about Roman Reigns, is the fact that I don't care how he's booked by Vince McMahon and stuff like that, Roman Reigns is decent in the ring. Like, he can go in the ring. His promos need work, obviously. But
don't everybody's though on the roster.
Yeah, you're gonna have your good days. You're gonna have your bad days. I don't even think CM Punk was that good back in the day until he became WWE champion.
I feel like he was, even though it's off topic, I feel like he was just never really given a chance to run. Like, it was always under WWE rules with his promos, like the Straight Edge Society stuff. He tried to get away with shit, and sometimes he did.
Yeah, because he was with
I didn't hate Straight Edge Society at the time. I feel it was one of the best things.
Yeah, his feud with Rey Mysterio and stuff.
And Big Show. He'd actually made a Big Show match tolerable for that. Like, Punk was unmasked when he shaved his head or something, right?
Yeah. Megan actually asked, is Finlay picking talent? I know he's a trainer.
I think so, yeah.
I think Finlay does go around once in a while and does some scouting.
The women, I think he's scout for, if anything. I know he's big time helping with women's wrestling.
Yeah, I think even Jamie Noble goes around sometimes and scouts. I think all the trainers do, and we
tons of guys. Norman Smiley is the guy we're forgetting to bring up.
Yeah, and then
even though everybody wants to laugh because but seriously, Norman Smiley's been a big part of the developmental over the past few years.
And now Shawn Michaels is a big trainer in NXT now since he moved to Florida. We also got to mention that.
Makes his rounds by the center.
And I didn't know this, but Undertaker was actually recently at the Performance Center and talking to a couple of the guys, and he actually went up to Aleister Black personally and gave him advice. So
I
look
thought you
at that.
I thought you were gonna say he gave him a kiss.
No, no, no.
What advice did he give him?
I guess he just likes his character and stuff. I guess he just gave him some tips on how to do his, the character. Like, because supposedly, what I was reading was a lot of guys in the Performance Center look at Aleister Black as the next Undertaker.
No, that's the closest, darkest character they probably have.
Besides Bray Wyatt. Then, but now, no. Another thing a lot of people fail to even realize.
I think Bray Wyatt could have been if they would have been handled properly, like I said.
He never was. Maybe early stages when they feuded with the Shield, yes, but there's technically one of the most underrated guys that nobody thought would ever become anybody from NXT and Rosebuds and stuff, that Vince McMahon had his brain and his hands involved.
Can I do it?
Go ahead. See, even Travis knows what I'm gonna say. Yep.
Braun Strowman. Who would have fucking thought? Also, Simon Gotch was there dancing.
Do you remember though? Honestly, the very first night that he came on scene in the WWE on Raw.
I do. The black sheep of the Wyatts.
And everybody was like, "Look at him. He's ugly. He's." What were they thinking? Vince McMahon's out of touch.
They were thinking fucking ogre from Revenge of the Nerds is what they were thinking. But even like the Rosebuds thing, that's something else to bring up. I think Adam Rose was such an overact. That may be the first person act talent they fucked up. Because I feel like he went to the main roster before the Ascension. Yeah. So that may be, because I remember Adam Rose, everyone was like, it's too soon, and it kind of was. It was just starting to get over in NXT, and they called him up, and I think he feuded with like Jack Swagger, and it was shit. Nobody reacted, because they didn't give it time to develop enough in NXT. But I've gone back and watched, like, there's a takeover with him in like the opening match. He had so much potential, man, as like at least an intercontinental guy with like that Jack Sparrow, zany fucking. He just did it really well, and it was so over. It's just a shame. And like the Ascension too, remember when fans used to chant along with the Ascension? Remember those days? Seems like forever ago.
I know. Adam Rose reminded me of this dancing Paul Burchill for some reason.
Yeah, Captain Jack Sparrow is basically what it is, molded with like, a 70s rock star, and just it was good. And he started as Leo Kruger in NXT, which is crazy.
Oh, they should have kept that name.
You like that name. See, Logan's a fan of it.
Better than Adam Rose.
Adam Rose, I think, came out in an interview and said he hated that name, I believe. Should have listened to you.
Should have listened. There's a lot of things they should listen to us about, but they don't.
Some big-time names we're forgetting, Logan. Like we said, when it first started on the network, it evolved more and more. We saw the ladies definitely get a spotlight. Sasha Banks and Bayley, the match at Brooklyn, probably still to this day, it'd come at me, top 3 at least women's match. Okay, I'll say it. The best women's match they've done in that company to this day because of the atmosphere. It was a great match, too. I feel like there's been better Asuka or Ember Moon matches since then or whatever, but this one just had everything. It still holds up.
And we failed to mention Asuka and her undefeated streak and stuff like that.
Go ahead, because I'm on the ladies now, so why not?
Yeah. Asuka, to me, was one of those women in NXT that you can't say anything negative about. There's always a positive about Asuka. No matter, her English and stuff like that is better than Nakamura, in my opinion, right now. And we can also mention the fact that Nakamura and Asuka came in, and you know who's trained them promo-wise?
Funaki.
Yeah. The number one.
I just said that to be funny. Is that serious?
Yeah. Funaki is the promo trainer in NXT for Nakamura and Asuka.
That's great. That's hilarious. Yeah, you're right, because I see all the photos or whatever, like if they're on the road, Funaki's always with them, like out to dinner or something.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. That's
James Ellsworth, too, you were telling me, hung out with Nakamura on the road, too, for a while.
Yeah, they went to beaches. I saw pictures of them surfing together. They actually drove town to town together. Little did anybody know.
People, all right, the chat is lit up. We're neglecting our chat, Logan. Ashley says, pretty much all the best guys right now came from other promotions, like we said on last night's show. Megan says, is Finley picking... Yeah, we got to that. She says, Amber's better in the Indies, sucks in WWE. Yeah. I don't know if we caught up on the chat or not. I feel like we didn't, but I did it again for us. So there you go.
Well, earlier, Tater Snake said CG and HH, Beach Shop. Ashley goes, surprised HH is awake. The Beach Shop opens early tomorrow. And then Tater Snake's big February sales about to come in, brother.
Let me tell you something, dude. It's a holiday, brother. Beach Shop's closed tomorrow, man. All right, Logan. It's been really fun, and we're not done. I just feel like NXT has given us so much so fast. You kind of got to catch your breath. We haven't brought up guys like Balor, Owens, Zayn, really, Hideo Itami, Nakamura, Samoa Joe. You know what I mean? Where we're at now is incredible. It's kind of gloss over because they're main roster guys, and we talk about them every week. But just all these guys. I mean, Owens is still maybe my favorite debut because they teased Owens with vignettes when he was Kevin Steen. A lot of hype at the time. And it was like, oh, God, Juice Robinson now in New Japan. I'm trying to... CJ Parker, right? The hippie gimmick. Do you remember that? It opened, and Kevin Owens was the babyface in this. And CJ Parker, like, busted him open the hard way.
Yeah, I do remember
That was crazy.
that. And
It's also the same show where Sami Zayn beat Neville to close it, and Owens did the heel turn, which is tremendous, to close the show.
I do remember that. That was probably one of the best debuts on NXT, and again, I think to me one of the best debuts from NXT to main roster was Kevin Owens when he came in and
John Cena.
Yep.
John Cena.
And a lot of people they'll criticize what John Cena and say that he buries talent. I don't even think that anymore. I think just being in matches and in being involved in a storyline with John Cena helps more than them losing, because they're involved in it. And for like Kevin Owens, he put him over. Excuse me.
See, that excitement of Owens' debut got you so excited you needed a second. No, I agree. We saw... I think it was more of an injury thing, but they kind of did the same thing at the same time as Sami Zayn. He debuted against John Cena, but he injured himself on his entrance. Remember?
Yeah,
Sami Zayn did.
I remember that. And
Baron Corbin's another guy that
yeah,
he would win his matches in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and he's gotten okay in the ring. And he's not that bad on the mic. I don't like his hairline. This is crazy. I think they're big on Baron Corbin right now.
I think they're secretly big. Like they're making people think that they're not with how they're booking him.
And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. I want to see more of Baron Corbin become more... Like, I don't want to see him... I don't know. The booking-wise, do you see any negative about him, like, losing the Money in the Bank and stuff like that? And how he lost?
I do, because that's one thing, but usually when something bad happened, every time, I feel like, to a Money in the Bank winner, they would always redeem themselves in the booking. And this is months ago now, by the way, fucking last year, and he's just been booked into shit. By the way, it's a slim chance, I feel like, that they have big plans for him, but I feel like they do. And this could be wool over our eyes, but they're waiting a long time if they're doing that. But that could be a good thing, because you don't see that a lot anymore. So who knows? That concussion lawsuit, right, probably didn't help him.
No, it didn't. And then I don't know, like, to me it's like a failed project. And like you said,
I don't feel like he's the guy. For one, passion's a big thing. I know a lot of people say that.
I don't see it.
I feel like Brock at the end of the day does like pro wrestling. I don't know if he loves it, but he at least likes it. I just feel like Baron Corbin doesn't play football anymore, and he wants to keep the big house with the porn star girlfriend or whatever the fuck he's got going on. I don't know. And I'm not trying to, like, that's not 100% he's like that, but I'm assuming because of how he comes off.
Just another thing. Thank you, Ashley. We failed to mention one other dude, Elias.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, that's a guy that was treated like shit in NXT. Maybe that's why that I forgot about him, because fans hated him. He got that and it wasn't like good heat to have with Full Sail. They hated it, right? Because it was like, it reminded them of hokey main roster gimmick, I feel like.
Yeah, and what he did in NXT, like, I don't remember anything. Like, I don't remember anything.
He was just the drifter. I think they would just call him, and he would just come out and get his ass beat, and not even really get to play as much as he does now at that. And I literally think he would stand on stage for 10 seconds, fans would boo him so bad, and he would just... I mean, man, we're flashing back to NXT. I'm thinking of stuff like, God, what was the French guy that got the hair removal cream? Was it like Enzo and Cass in a match or something?
Oh, I can't...
And he's in, like, Impact now, I think. Both of those guys. Those French guys. The guy had, like, a black beard and long hair. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to remember.
Chad, help us out if you can. God, that was a long time ago.
Oh, man. See, but to me, until the chat helps us out, Elias in the main roster has... Wow, like, I can't believe how over he is right now.
I wonder if they're going to capitalize on it, is the thing.
They need to. Like,
I mean, confirmed in the chat, she has an Elias shirt. There you go. There's a market for Elias.
Yeah, but for me, like, Elias, just... He's so over right now, and he doesn't have to say anything, like, big time, like, to get like, the heat. The heel heat. He just gets it with simple sentences.
If booked the right way, with the same gimmick, don't change a thing. He could be an Intercontinental title guy easily, like the 2018 version of the Honky Tonk Man. How Honky was kind of serious, he had that reign as Intercontinental Champion, but he's still doing the silly guitar shit. He could be that.
Oh yeah, he definitely can. And see, to me, with Elias, and the crazy part is that at Elimination Chamber, he is number 6, the last entrant in the chamber match since he beat Braun and Cena.
Which means he's going to be eliminated in 30 seconds, sadly.
Oh man, like, if this was not WrestleMania season, I would put the belt on Elias.
Oof, I don't know.
For some reason, don't get me wrong.
I like Elias, but goddamn, Logan, go ahead.
Well, to me, he's got the promo skills. He's got the heel heat.
That's me pushing my straw down into my drink, by the way, because I got nothing.
Well, I'm sorry. I just if you want somebody that is different,
yeah.
You know. And for some reason, I know people would disagree with me every day. I still see Elias. I still see a little bit of Macho Man Randy Savage in him. For some reason, I do.
Yeah, I could see that. If anything, I'd be safer about it. I'd definitely put an IC or US title on him first and see how it goes. But damn, if you want to fucking put all your cards on Elias, man, fuck it.
Well, I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but if booked right and storyline like fits, I could see it.
Nothing's going to surprise me. Look at last year. The Gender Mania. Who would have fucking thought a year ago we would have been talking about this with this guy, what he did in a year. So they're capable of pulling anything out of their... At least Elias is at least over, so there you go.
Over, he has better mic skills. He's doesn't look like he's on roids. He looks... And he, to me...
Well, he's pretty deezed up. He's pretty jacked.
Yeah, he's definitely jacked. But that's the one thing, like the one quality that I see a little bit of Macho Man Randy Savage in him is just like the beard, a little bit of the beard, and like the built of what he has. And and then he's got that guitar. Like, to me, he's like Jeff Jarrett mixed with Macho Man Randy Savage, but
Damian Sandow, you gotta say.
Damian Sandow. There's potential there. That's all I'm saying.
I have, Logan, because I know it's about here at the end of the show. I've been saving my hottest take for the very end. I want to see your reaction to it. This could turn into a great debate. Out of all the talent to come out of NXT, the one talent already that I think has built a Hall of Fame worthy career in that company, if they want to induct her, is Charlotte. Look what she's done already.
Oh, yeah. Yep. There's no debate on that. That Charlotte has done
the lineage, the fucking presentation, how the prodigy. She's on Kurt Angle levels of grasping the business so fast and being so good at it.
Yeah, there's no see, and that's the great thing about like Charlotte is, and like a Kurt Angle. We haven't seen many like talent that has come in like that and grasped the professional wrestling like they have.
Yeah, exactly. And even in NXT, when she isn't as seasoned and as good as she is now, I remember a match with Natalia, right, at a takeover with like Brett and Natalia's corner and Rick. Yeah, tremendous. She's just a natural. The genes in that family, people said, definitely didn't go to David. You know, the wrestling genes.
No, it went to Charlotte, and like her promo skills is like top notch too.
And guys listening or on demand or wherever you're going to hear this, I get sometimes the grievances with the Performance Center and developmental in-house, because I say it too, like, I don't think a Mojo Rawley, I don't want to quote Drew Hortman the other day on my channel, I don't want a roster full of Mojo Rawleys. That's why I'm thankful for indies and territories. But, yeah, this is definitely one of the positives, because maybe Charlotte, yeah, she's Flair's daughter. She was a personal trainer and stuff before she got into wrestling. She could have never been discovered if it wasn't for the nepotism I know is there with Flair being her dad, but just being kind of shoved in, all right, give her a shot because she's Flair's daughter. I mean, yeah, it was a 1 in a million shot, but goddamn, they hit the lottery with Charlotte. And like I said, with the title reigns, how fast she's grasped it, she's been booked better more than not. I mean, she was pretty lacklusterly booked for a while last year. Like, she didn't really do anything.
Charlotte, to me, in the long run...
You're right. Wait, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot.
Oh.
She did have that overdose line about her brother dying against Paige, I believe. That was awful. That, I can't believe I forgot to bring that. But she still had a good career. And I feel like she could already be in the Hall of Fame. I feel like even people in the Hall of Fame have had really bad, shitty career moments, and they're still in.
You can't say that Charlotte hasn't had a Hall of Fame career, because she's won every title. She's been in almost every feud now. And she just reminds you of Ric Flair when Ric Flair came in a long time ago.
She's just female Ric Flair. 80s.
And she's only going to get better.
Yeah, if she even... I mean, she's not in her 20s either, if she even has that many years left in her. She could just say fuck it one day and be like, I've got my money. I don't feel like she frivolously spends her money and is bad with her money. You like that $5 word, Logan? Frivolous, I threw out here at the end of the show. Look at that.
That is true.
Favorite talent, to wrap this up, Logan, to come out of NXT so far to what we have now. We didn't even talk about guys like Undisputed Era, what we have now. Almas, Johnny Gargano and Almas getting the 5-star match.
Chad Gable.
My God. That's your favorite right there.
Oh, yeah, Chad Gable. Let's just be honest, Chad Gable.
But let's full scale it. Let's full scale it to how they've developed onto the main roster to where we're at now. Who is your favorite to come out of NXT so far in 4 years? How you think they've been handled the best too, I guess.
It sucks, but I would have to go with Asuka right now. For the women's, I'll have to say that. And for the men's,
Can I start barking?
Yeah, go ahead.
The big dog. Without a doubt, love it or hate that decision, Roman Reigns has obviously been the biggest thing to come out of NXT. Not my personal favorite. I feel like Balor or Owens, probably tie. probably more Balor. I feel like has been handled better than Owens.
I would have to say Owens over
Look
Balor.
at that. Look at that.
Just
Heel
his
turn.
debut, I would have to go with Owens. And
Broski would have me hanging by a
about-
noose right now if he knew I went against
yeah.
KO.
I was about to say Eric would be all over this, but honestly, Kevin Owens' debut was one of the most that you will remember like 10 years from now. Finn Balor's, I really don't remember him even coming in. Honestly, that was when they were more focused on the draft lottery and the WWE draft and all that.
It's true. Didn't even take guys like Braun Strowman into accountability either. Maybe Braun, if I rethink my inks and get back to the drawing board. Maybe I'd say Braun, because he's still my favorite guy in the whole world right now. I can't help it. I love Braun.
Yeah, Braun Strowman is, without a shadow of a doubt, is one of the most over guys in the business right now, and you can't say he's not.
And you can't teach that. Enzo and Cass also through NXT. Logan! We are also through our pilot whatever episode here of Next Level. This Wednesday, though, Logan, we're doing it legit.
Yes, we are. This Wednesday night, right here live on Future Wrestling Podcast. Next Level. We'll be
immediately following NXT.
Yep.
Well, not immediately, because it goes on at like 8. So around about 11-ish, right? Something like that.
We'll do that. Something like that.
Whenever we fucking feel like it.
We will be doing the NXT review, just Travis and I, once again, right here on Future Wrestling Podcast. Travis, it's always good to have a podcast with you, just me and you. Back, feels like old times on...
It's been literally, people don't understand, it's been literally months. Maybe even almost a year since you and I have two-man anything. That sounds gross, but podcast, guys. Is what I mean. It's been a long ass time, man. It's been fun. Thank you again for asking me to do this show. See you this Wednesday. Follow me. Well, check me out on YouTube. Hibiki TMD. Subscribe. All that good stuff. See you then, Logan.
Thank you, Travis. And once again, you guys check me out right here.
And the chat. Thank you guys. By the way,
Yep.
sorry, Logan. So much in the chat. Stopping by.
Thank you, everybody in the chat. And you guys can check me out right there on YouTube. Future Wrestling Podcast right here. Like, subscribe, and enjoy everything. Next Level. It's where it's at. Guys, play that music, guys. And I'm going to play you guys some Aleister Black to end this stream.
Later, brothers.
Woo!